Oh. Yo, what up guys, it's Colin here from CH Gadgets, and this is 13 things that I like about the Gigabyte AERO 15. By the way, if this is your first time here and you love tech and gadgets just like I do, and you want to see all the cool new tech that I get to test and play with every week, then start now by clicking the subscribe button and tapping the bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of my new videos when they drop. Alright, so the first thing on my list is the build quality and design. The AERO 15 has a sleek, slim, solid metal build that feels really well made and reassuring in the hands. Every time I take it up to use it or put it in my bag, I'm just smiling while thinking to myself, man, this thing feels really good. Everything about it gives you the feeling that it is a high quality premium built machine, and that a lot of thought went into the user perception. Now, even though this is a creator's laptop and it falls in the same category as the MacBook Pro and the XPS 15, Gigabyte had a few aggressive lines that set this thing apart and make it stand out from the crowd. And in my opinion, it just looks badass. However, these lines and vents are not just for aesthetic reasons only. Unlike the XPS 15 and the MacBook Pro, this chassis was designed with a lot of vents and air intake to reduce any possibility of overheating or thermal throttling. And so far, it's doing a pretty good job. And this leads us into the next thing. The AERO 15 has some really good thermal performance. The laptop has a lot of ventilation and airflow on the bottom and the side grills, as I mentioned earlier. And there's just something about the AERO 15's design that allows a lot of air to pass through it, even though the fans can get really loud sometimes. But I don't think it's because of these powerful fans doing such a good job that allows it to perform so well. I think it's a combination between the 5 heat pipes that you're using, the 71 blade Fan X2s, the Thermal Grizzly thermal paste, the 11 vents all across the chassis, and how they tune the CPU and GPU that makes this thing deliver such great results. And one of the reasons why I really like this thing. And number 3 on the list is the keyboard layout. The keyboard layout on the AERO 15 is really good, and I like it. Now, if you're coming from a desktop and now to a laptop as your main machine, then you're definitely going to appreciate having a full keyboard with number pad and all. Since this is one of the only laptops that offer this kind of experience right now. The AERO 15 has one of the better keyboards that you can find on any laptop right now. It's definitely better than the Razer Blade 15 and a few others that are in the same class. Plus, that perky RGB is totally customizable from the Control Center app, and that also adds to its badassedness. Badassedness. You gotta look up that word. Speaking of which, the next thing on the list is the Control Center app. The Gigabyte Control Center app is one of the best software any manufacturer could create and put on a system. The app lets you control almost every single aspect of your system. For example, the CPU has 5 different power profiles and the GPU has 2 different profiles, and you can set them to any one that suits your use case or workflow. You can adjust the keyboard lights and effects and a whole lot more. But one of the coolest things is the fact that you can fine-tune the fans down to the minute detail of how you want them to operate under a given situation. And for that, I just have to say, hats off to Gigabyte, because they're really thinking about the user experience here. And number 5 on the list, the trackpad on this laptop is really nice. It's really smooth and responsive, and I think it's probably one of the best that I've ever used on a laptop thus far. And number 6 is closely related to the trackpad because it's on the trackpad, and that is the fingerprint sensor. The fingerprint sensor is really fast, accurate, and reliable, and it has never failed me once since I got this laptop, so that's a good thing. And number 7, there are a lot of ports. This laptop has a generous port selection for such a thin and light Ultrabook. This means that you can go completely dongle free if you so choose, because you get almost everything that you would ever need on a laptop while you're on the go for content creation, and then some. So here is the layout. On the left side, you get one HDMI 2.0 port, one USB Type-C that also doubles as a DisplayPort 1.4, one USB Type-A 3.1 port, and headphones microphone and mic combo jack and an RJ45 Ethernet port. And on the right side is where you will find a power port, an SD card slot, one Thunderbolt 3 port for eGPUs and Thunderbolt 3 docks, as well as two USB Type A 3.1 ports. And like I said, they were being completely generous with these ports. And number 8 on the list, the one finger lid. The AERO 15 has achieved the coveted one finger lift the lid title that so many other laptops have aspired to because of the MacBook Pro. And now the AERO 15 does it, and I kind of like it. So that's a thing. And the number 9, the next thing that I want to mention is the logo on the lid. Gigabyte has gone ahead and switched the logo on the lid from the previous plain looking Gigabyte insignia to what is now a really cool looking arrow in a funky futuristic font design, and I kind of like it. I also like the fact that the logo is illuminated with LED lights whenever you turn the laptop on. The lights create a nice ambience when you're in a dimly lit room, but it looks even cooler when someone is sitting across from you while you're doing some work in a coffee shop. However, the only problem is you can't switch it off or change the colors on the LED. But it still looks cool though. By the way, did you see the license plate tag light on the logo on the bottom? That's pretty cool too. And number 10 on the list, power and performance. This is a really powerful machine. And this is not even the highest spec model. As a matter of fact, this is the lowest spec model in the entire AERO 15 OLED lineup. So just in case you're wondering, this model is the SA-7US5020SH that comes with the Samsung UHD AMOLED display that has been X-Bright Pantone color calibrated from the factory, the 9th Gen Intel Core i7-9750H, the NVIDIA GTX 1660 Ti with 6GB GDDR6, a single 8GB of RAM. Yes, you heard me correct, a single 8GB of RAM, and the Intel 256GB 760p M.2 NVMe SSD. You might be thinking to yourself that you need the i9-9880HK RTX 2080 version in order to get some serious work done. But I can tell you that this works just great for me. I can edit 4K video from my Sony camera, scrub the timeline, and export on this bad boy with relative ease, even though it has a 8GB of RAM right now. By the way, stay tuned because I'm gonna be working on something with this laptop, so you probably want to stay tuned for that. But this is just a testament that you don't have to spend 3 or 4 grand in order to get a serious workstation. I'm looking at you, Apple. Looking at you. Now the truth is, if you have the money to spend, then by all means go ahead and spend the 4 grand and get that top spec model. But if you're on a budget like I am, then this entry-level model can get the job done just as well, albeit at a more affordable cost. The next thing that I want to talk about is the OS and App Smoothness. Now, what I mean by that is, ever since I got this laptop and started using it, everything has been friction-free thus far. The OS has been really smooth, but most importantly, all the major apps that I use on a regular basis have been working very well in tandem with the OS. I use a lot of Adobe software and a few other products, and I have not experienced any bugs or crash, which is really surprising since my old laptop used to freeze and crash all the time. So yeah, I really like what Gigabyte has done here. They've really dialed in this thing and tuned it really well, and it runs really efficiently, and that gets a thumbs up from me. And number 12 on the list, the built-in SD card reader on this thing. This laptop has a super fast UHS 2 SD card reader built in, and if you're coming from a MacBook, then this is gonna be like heaven to you. And if you're coming from a PC, then you're right at home. With a super fast SD card reader built in, you can offload video footage really quick without any dongle, and I can definitely get behind that. And last but definitely not least, the AERO 15 display is nothing short of amazing. This laptop has some seriously thin bezels. As a matter of fact, the bezels are so thin that this laptop has an 89% screen to body ratio, which is really impressive if you look at what else is out there right now. But the real star of the show is the 4K OLED 60Hz Pantone factory calibrated display that is extremely beautiful and captivating to look at. I do have to mention though that this is the same panel that you can find in a few other laptops such as the XPS 15, the HP Spectre X360, the Asus ZenBook Pro, the Lenovo ThinkPad series, and the Razer Blade 15 Advanced, and a bunch more. But this is the best one out of all of those that I've just mentioned, bar none. I honestly don't think that anyone can calibrate their laptop display better than Gigabyte right now. This thing is spot on with its calibration, but don't take my word for it. Put it to the test for yourself and compare them side by side, and then do a quick test with your Spider 5 Pro, or if you have an X-Rite i1, and see exactly what I mean. And just in case you're wondering about the color gamut, this measures 100 on the sRGB and about 98 on the Adobe RGB, which is really impressive, and one of the reasons why I took the OLED version over the 240Hz IPS version, because this one is ideal for content creators, photographers, and filmmakers like myself. And those are the 13 things that I like about the Gigabyte AERO 15. However, this is not my full review. That is coming soon, along with a video that I'm currently working on where I'm going to use some simple modification to transform this powerful machine into an insane power beast. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. I'm curious though, what are some things that you like about the Gigabyte AERO 15? Or if you don't have the Gigabyte AERO 15, let me know some things that you really like about the laptop that you're currently using down in the comment section below. By the way, if you want one of these for yourself, check the link down in the description. Thanks for watching. It's your boy CH, and I'm out. Peace.